How this one goes. Make sure we're all good. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get started. I'm Mrs. Cannon, and this is fourth period English. Like I don't really know the track names. We'll go over kind of what the class looks like, because I'm sure that's what all your teachers are doing, right? And then you will need your Chromebook today. If you don't have it, and you still need to check it out, just use like a paper exam today, and you can rewrite it later. You can say anywhere that there isn't a sign. And yeah, we'll go over any questions you have. I'm going to take roll. Usually I'm not as like formal as taking roll, but I feel like this year it's going to be a little bit more challenging for me to get to know you and like remember who was supposed to be here on any given day. So I'll probably call roll at the beginning of every class, like in the old school mark, but today I just want to hear something about your summer. Something, I guess it could be something that really sucked or something that was awesome, something positive, right? So I'll just call your name. Please tell me if I mispronounce it, or if you like to be called something different than what is on there. Because like my real name is Cassandra, but every year I had like it's Casey, and then they would call me Cassie for like the rest of the year because I was too afraid to correct them. Please don't do that. It's just awesome. When I find out that's not actually your name. So you can say anywhere there isn't a sign. In this class, I'm not going to assign like a place for you to sit because I don't want to waste any of our valuable class time like showing you where to sit, right? Because we have an hour. You can sit anywhere that there's not a sign. So you can sit wherever. I mean, I guess unless you're like totally terrible, and then I will get you a seat.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
You live in
Sorry,
there?
also wanted to say hi for her.
Oh, tell her hi. Yeah, this is the weirdest thing.
Have a nice
So
day.
good to see you. Okay. Say anywhere that there isn't a sign.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not gonna have assigned seats. Most of you seem pretty normal thus far, so I think we're not gonna have to worry about assigning seats. But every once in a while, I have a class that just although I feel like everything is like awkward enough right now, but most people are like, whatever, I'll just do whatever you say. At least I'm not at home on my couch. Okay, so again, when I call your name, please tell me to go with something different or mispronounce it. Hi.
Just sit anywhere or what?
Yeah, anywhere there isn't a sign. Not those are kind of like almost look like timeout chairs, so.
That's the timeout corner over there.
Yeah. Dude, so I felt like regular nights, and sometimes even my honors night, and there was like these kids, I'm like, go sit in the corner. So like, I'm not about that, but it was awkward. I was like, no, don't talk to anyone, just stare at the wall. Okay, great. Yeah. So this is the second half of the alphabet, right? Yeah. Okay, so I think it starts. Henry Huff, you said you were here, right?
What?
You said that today is your
Yes.
That's good. Okay. Tell me something about your summer, or like hiatus since school started. Yeah, so we can get to know you a little.
I did two things. Number one, I joined the Provo Mountain Biking team, did that.
Nice.
And number two, I accomplished nothing else.
Solid. No, like if you get one accomplishment, I feel like that's like COVID standard awesome. Good job. Okay, cool. Hi, you can sit anywhere that there isn't a sign telling you not to sit there. Okay. Samantha Liana? Is that Liana? That's there. Okay, cool. Tell us something about your summer. You went to California? Nice. Cool. Spencer Madsen. Spencer-kiss. This one says that Haley's name. Is it Hallie? Are you Hallie? Okay, cool. It says you're on the other track, but actually it's on this track. Hi, Spencer. Well, sit anywhere that there isn't a sign. Okay, Hallie. Tell us something about your
Morning, teachers and students. Please stand for the pledge.
This is what they do. We get going and then they're like, all right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you're interested in starting a club, information to come next week.
Good luck to all our sports teams playing football, soccer, volleyball, cross country, and tennis.
Grabbing a lunch is in the East Common today.
Thank you, T-Birds.
All right, well, I think they need to work on their like radio voices and all. Something like that. You can sit anywhere that there isn't a sign, so I think most of them are on that side. Cool. My husband won't let us get a dog. And when I say that, I mean like I know we both know that we shouldn't get a dog, but I just blame it on him because then it just feels like I want a dog. Charlotte Purvis. Charlotte. Okay. Yes. Grant Reeve. Nice. This is over summer.
I joined the Tempe cross country team.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I was helping with the track team in the spring before everything went to crap. And then I broke my leg back.
Sorry, wrong class.
Oh, there's fine. No. Nobody came into your face, right? It's like,
Exactly.
Okay. Siley Robinson. Nice. Jacob Rust. Seth.
I played a lot of basketball and football.
Nice. That's awesome. I've been watching the bubble.
Yeah.
I love the Blazers. Like I'm a big, cause I'm from Portland. I was very proud of my team with the Lakers. That's neither here nor there. Tyson Satini.
I went for,
Nice. Did you guys know wearing a mask like the whole time? Yeah, I like that. It's weird. I would get like a sunburn. Yeah. Maybe if I wear the glasses, it wouldn't be bad. It'd just be like this part of my forehead. Norman Sorensen.
I got a random helicopter.
Really? That's awesome. Just cuz?
Yeah, we went camping. Some really tall, in the middle of the river.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like my family and your family camp differently. That's awesome though. Okay. Beatrice Sundown? Beatrice? Okay. Micah Wells.
It's Mika.
Oh, Mika, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was y'all, so.
Nice. Why don't you go there? It's been like forever since we went there. Spencer Watcott?
Here.
Nice.
I also got a dog.
What kind?
White lab.
Oh. And sorry, yesterday I was like on the phone when you came in to
Yeah.
say hi, and I was like, I look like the rudest person, but I was like trying to get my computer and all this stuff fixed. It was the worst. But that's great. I wanted to talk someday. Okay, Peter Winter.
I did nothing.
That is impressive. Nice. And then Jana Winter.
I moved into a new house.
Nice. I don't said where, but obviously probably somewhere in Provo. Good boy. We also moved this one. We're up in the because I get to live where I want. Cool. Is there anyone that I didn't call that is here? Okay, sweet. Alright, let's go over kind of class format. So if you have your Chromebook, why don't you open it up and we can kind of look through things together. Okay, most important things that I can teach you is how to write a good essay before that happens, right? So we're just gonna like do it, and that way you go home and have learned nothing else. At least you've got that. So I will give you guys like an in-person lesson right for an hour a week and download as much as I can into your brains. But then the rest of it is gonna be on Canvas. So if you go on Canvas and click on this class, I am gonna have a module for every week. And because like the school started on Wednesday, which is like really weird, especially for this situation, basically I'll post everything on Wednesdays and it'll be due by the next time you have class. So for you guys, it would just be due by, today's Thursday, right? So you would just have it turned in by Thursday. The dates might be a little funky on Canvas, like I'll try and get them as accurate as possible, but it's really hard where they split you in halves. So we'll just be flexible with each other. Do not fall too far behind. Just try and get whatever is on there done by that next class, and then you'll be fine. The problem if you get like behind is like even though we may not ding you for late work, you've got that much more work to do, and then it just snowballs. And the end of the term, you're like, ugh, what happened to my life? I don't know, right? So just make sure you're staying on top of it. But every week I'll have like a module. It will have everything you need to be successful. At the top of it, I'll have a weekly overview, and that's important for you to read first because it's going to detail what all the rest of this stuff is, right? And I've actually like put links into it to the assignment, so that's helpful too. But if you don't want to push the link there, then you can look for it in like the actual module, which is nice too. So this week, what we're going to be doing what it says for number 1 in class today. So today in class, we're going to set up your writer's notebook, and it will be done on a Google Doc through Canvas. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But every time I have you write something in your writer's notebook, you're going to write it on that same document, and then you'll turn in that document at the end of the term. So you won't turn it in every time. It'll just be like one long thing. Turn it in at the end for like 100 points. Basically based on completion, so like, did you do it? I'm not going to be like reading like spelling or grammar and all of that. Just did you do your notes? Basically, it's kind of like participation, right? So we'll be doing that, and then I will post any PowerPoints and stuff that I have. So today's PowerPoint, I posted it like on this link. You can just click on it, and it will take you to the PowerPoint, which is nice. You may not need that every week because if you're in class, like we're going over it, but there may be times in class where you're like, whoa, I can't remember that. That was like something that was helpful, so you can go back and get it. You also need to read through the class disclosure document. Depending on how much time we have at the end, we may look at that together, or you can look at it at home. This document is kind of hard to write this year because they're like, make a disclosure document for your class this year, but this year is like messed up. So we will look at some of the stuff. Some of it is more flexible than what it would be on a normal year. But you'll read through that, have your parents read through it, and then you'll fill out the disclosure document agreement form. So instead of bringing you back like that paper thing, like I read this, you're just going to do a Google form for it. So if you click on the link there, it will take you to this, and you'll just put your name, you'll say that you read it, and that your parents read it, and then if you have any questions or things that I should know, and then your parents' email, not your email because I already have yours. I just, in case I need to contact your parents, and then your phone number, and you'll just submit that, and it's like 5 points. So that's nice. Any questions on disclosure? Okay, cool. 3, you're going to do a pre-assessment because I want to see where you are writing-wise and we can track your progress, right? So we need like a baseline. So you're going to write your best argumentative paragraph, and the way you're going to do that is you're going to read a story called The Lady or the Tiger, which, to be honest, is kind of a messed up story, but like that's what we read in English, right? Either messed up or like depressing stories, right? I don't know why, but like those are like the 2 requirements to be an English class story. So this story is about a dude who, well, it's a king, right? And he has this land, and instead of having like a justice system where you have like courts and you get to decide if people are guilty or innocent based on like evidence and real things, he just has this system where you go to this amphitheater. I kind of imagine like the Colosseum, right? And if someone has been accused, they get to stand in the middle and there are two doors. Behind one door is a tiger, and behind one door is a lady. And the way that you decide if you're guilty or innocent is when you pick a door, if a tiger comes out, it will eat you, and you are obviously guilty. And that's how you know that they were guilty, because they're just dead. The other door is lady, and if you pick that door, you are innocent, and you get to marry that lady and live happily ever after. Now, if you're married, it doesn't matter. Like, this is your new lady, and that's just the way it works. I don't know how it works if you're like a lady accused of a crime. I'm gonna have to assume that they find a gentleman, or maybe, you know, the lady likes ladies, whatever. Okay, but like, just go with it, right? So it's a weird story. So you're gonna read through that, and the end is kind of a cliffhanger. So you have to decide. You're gonna make an argumentative paragraph deciding what came out of the door when this guy gets to it, a lady or a tiger, and you're gonna use evidence from the text to support what you say. So you'll read through it first, and then the actual assignment instructions are here. So you're gonna decide what you think happened to the man after he opened the door, the lady or the tiger, and then you're gonna write an argumentative paragraph. Do not write an ending to the story. I have some people who are great at creative writing, right? They're like, I've written this whole creative thing. That's not what it's asking you to do. You're arguing for which you thought happened. We'll have time later in the year to do some creative stuff, but don't do that on this one. There is a rubric down here. So I'll be grading organization, evidence and commentary, and mechanics. You will get full points just for doing it because it's a pre-assessment, right? I haven't taught you anything, so it's not very fair to say you did good on this or bad because like I had nothing to do with it, right? But I will give you kind of your score based on what it would be if I was grading it, so you know kind of baseline where you are, and then we can go from there throughout the rest of the year. Okay, and that'll be due just by next class again. Any questions on the pre-assessment? Awesome. The fourth thing you'll do is each term we will have a choice book for this class. Reading is so important because when you get to AP or junior and senior year, if you haven't like read enough and your vocabulary is suffering because of that, the test will be so much harder for you. It's almost impossible sometimes to make those gains that you would have made if you were just like consistently reading and familiarizing yourself with a lot of different words and vocabulary and writing styles. So I give you an opportunity each term to read a book. In the module, I wasn't able to I think put the file that tells you generally about the assignment, so you'll have to go into the actual module itself. It is called Choice Book Details, I think. Yeah, Choice Book Assignment Details. This kind of details the whole year, what each term will sort of look like. For the first term, you can pick whatever you want as long as it meets a few requirements. So the requirements for every choice book are that you've never read the book before. So it's not something that you read over the summer, not something, I read it when I was 2, but I don't remember. I just want you to broaden your horizons, right? So read something new. You read it during this term, so between now and things like October 24th. It's at an appropriate reading level. So instead of you don't have to come to me physically and pre-approve, but if I look on the survey that you're gonna fill out saying which book you chose, you put the green eggs in ham. Let's pick a different book, right? Both you and your parents are comfortable with it, so do not pick something like 50 Shades of Grey, and your parents are gonna come to me and be like, who, this devil woman, right? I don't need that in my life. So just pick something that you're comfortable reading, that your parents are not gonna yell at me. If I could pick my world, I would never have to even talk to parents, right? Because you guys are so mature, and I don't have to deal with that. Because angry parents are the worst. You know, right? Angry parents are not fun for you either. So anyway, don't pick something terrible. And then it's not a book that we're reading in this class, so we can't pick To Kill a Mockingbird, Book Thief, Romeo and Juliet, Les Mis, or Princess Bride. So those are off limits because we're gonna read them all together. Does it make sense? I mean, you can, but it doesn't count. And then it needs to be at least 200 pages, which is not as bad as you think. You need to finish the whole book. So if you're gonna pick something like Way of Kings, right? That's fine, it's like super long, but you have to finish it. You can't just be like, well, I read 200 pages of it, because that's not like finishing, right? Or finishers finish it. So make sure you pick something that you can complete. So if you know that like this term is really busy for you, you've got like sports and a job / the world is crap, like don't pick a long book, pick something that you can reasonably complete. I don't know how they're like AP Geography, I know a lot of you are in that class. In years past, she has done a choice, like, or some sort of a book assignment, right? You can double count it, like you can pick the same book for both classes, you just have to do the separate assignments. So you may ask her, if you haven't had her yet, or if you have, and just haven't asked her, like, hey, are we doing a book assignment? Because I'd really like to pick one that I can do for both English and that. So that's totally fine. Cool, and then term 2, we're gonna do a nonfiction book. And there's some really fun ones that you can find to read. When people, at least me, maybe I'm just like ignorant, but as like a kid, I was like, nonfiction, that's the boring stuff, right? But there are some really fun nonfiction books. Third term, we're gonna do a book that's also a movie. It's so fun during the bleak winter times. And then pandemic pending, we're gonna try and do book clubs term 4, but like, I honestly don't know what it's gonna look like if we're still not on like a regular school schedule, so I'll have to think about that. But that's the dream, book clubs. Okay? And then once you've read the book, you have an assignment with it each term. So for this term, the assignment is a book review, and I've already put it up on Canvas. It's not due until the end of the term, so like sometime in October. I guess October 16th. But you can get it done whenever you want. So if you just like bust out your book and you're like, I just don't even want to worry about that, you can totally do it early. It's all detailed. Oops. I put it in pretty good detail. And then you can check out some example reviews on New York Times. And they've got a ton of books that they've reviewed. And you can look at those for some examples. I'll see if I have any good student examples to put up too. I just haven't had time, so that is choice book. Any questions on that? Cool. So you'll just pick that book, like you'll just choose your book by August 28th, and you'll fill out this little survey here. And it's just those, like the questions on the parameters, like my parents are comfortable with this book. It's not one of these books. It's something I've never read before, so that'll be really easy. Yeah. Cool. And then the last thing you'll do this week, it's kind of a dry reading, I'll be honest, but unfortunately I can't have you in class to like have a lecture every time, and so some of this stuff is just like, okay, what's like the fastest way for you to at home do that? So it may not be like the most fun, but it will save you time. So maybe that's not, I don't know, maybe you prefer fun over time, but we'll try to do a nice blend of both. But you'll read this. It's going to talk about arguments generally, and then you'll fill out these notes with it. There's like 7 questions that you'll just answer as you're reading through. So it may be easiest, I mean, you could either, I know your screens are pretty small on your Chromebooks, so if you can split screen, you totally can, like just like kind of close one shorter and read and answer at the same time. Or you could even like print out and then fill out while you're reading physically. It doesn't matter, but whatever is easiest for you. And then you'll just come ready to talk about it in next class. Any questions about the Canvas stuff? Yeah.
So in that last assignment, those questions, do we answer them in our writing, like the document?
Just right there on the assignment, since I set that one up as an assignment. So yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Good question. Anything else? Okay. The last thing is, in the announcements, I just talked about if you need to meet with me like one-on-one, then we get done at noon, right? So I'm here every day after school until it's like 2:30 or something. Or I guess consultation's still 1:45, but I'll probably be here till 2. So if you need to come in and ask me any questions, you totally can. If you're not on campus and you want to meet with me, I'm going to have Zoom like office hours every Wednesday from 1 to 2. So you can just like, if you're at home, you're like, or I mean, I guess if you're here and you want to Zoom, you'd rather not see my face, like that's fine, I'm not offended. But you can click on this link here, or I guess you might have to copy and paste it in. But you can just like ask me any questions you have. You do not need to come to those office hours, they are not required. They're just like, if you need something. Because I had some people last year we went online and it was like all of a sudden, right? And they're like, okay, I'm here for office hours. I was like, oh, do you have any questions? They're like, well, no. I'm like, well, this is awkward. Hi, like, it's weird. So you do not need to come if you don't have questions. And you can also come because Fridays we don't have school and I'm here all day. If you come on the Fridays though, just make an appointment with me because I may be like roving the school doing whatever. So I want to make sure that I'm available. You don't have to come in person. You could also say like, I want to make a Zoom conference on that day so we can go over whatever. We can do that, and that'll be from 7:30 to 12 on Fridays. Question? Okay, how exciting. Then we are going to start our writer's notebooks and start thinking about argument. So if you have your Chromebook, have those out, and you're gonna go to the assignment called, I think it's Term 1 Writer's Notebook. So you can find that either on like the overview under the number 1 or just in assignments, Term 1 Writer's Notebook. So go ahead and open that. What it's gonna do is it's gonna open a document. Maybe. Slowly. Yeah, I'll just go like this. Okay, so this one? Oh, what's that one? Okay, so if you don't have your Chromebook today, just pull out a piece of paper and write it down, and you can either transfer that to your doc, like Google Doc, and like just type it up, or you can just take a picture and like post that there too. That's totally fine. But you do need to be writing stuff today, so. If you need a piece of paper, I've got some by the Flamingo over there, like our class mascot. I don't know if I have a ton of pens, / I don't know if that's kosher. So anyway, hopefully you've got something at least to write with. So on this doc, it has the directions there for how I kind of want you to set it up. Anything you write is going to go on this same document, and you'll just number your entries, date them, and title them. So for example, the first entry is going to look like this. You'll have 1, because it's the first entry, and you'll just say, okay, thinking about arguments, and then today is August 20th for you guys, but it's that first week. And we're going to write 2 things in there, so that's with a little AS, that's just me showing you that you're going to type stuff, okay? And then again, yeah, if you're in your writer's notebook, just like copy whatever you did in there onto your Google Doc when you get your Chromebook all set up. Okay? So, thinking about arguments. There's this guy who sits on college campuses. I think his last name is Crowder. He has like a little mug that says Louder with Crowder, like some podcast thing. And he's like, change my mind. He'll put like some statement and then a little table and wait for people to come up and change his mind. So, I have 4 such signs. I think some of them have been memified, but I thought they were funny. So, country music, or country is just music, emo music for rednecks. Change my mind. Pop-Tarts are ravioli. Change my mind. Water is wet. Change my mind. Milk is cereal sauce. Change my mind. It's pretty bold statements, right? Okay, so what you're going to do for the next few minutes is try to change his mind. Now, you don't have to agree with them, right? But you're just thinking about an argument that would change his mind. Something that is a good tactic for arguers is even, like, you have to think about what the other side would think, right? So even if you don't believe it's a good exercise to okay, what would I say that could change his mind, right? So go ahead and choose one of these and then write down what you would say to him to change his mind, okay?